And welcome back to the Morning Brew. I'm Larry Ahrens, along with our co-host Aaron Muffaletto for Monday, April 1st. And our special guest here in our first segment today on the Morning Brew is a good friend of mine, Lenan McGookey Gardner. Lenan is one of the nation's best sales coaches. And she's a management consultant, sales coach, speaker, author, trainer, and she's here. Welcome. I was running out of things to describe you. You do a lot. You and I have known each other a long time, and you've always been very dynamic in this field, and I'm glad to have you on. Your website is youcansell.com.
Yes, it is.
All right. And now, the old adage is that we're all in sales, right? We've heard that. But a lot of people don't really embrace that. But indeed, we're all in some way, shape, or form in the business of getting a transaction to occur, and that's sales, right?
Well, it is. It's very much that, Larry.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who've been sort of down with the recession and people losing jobs and all of that. And now what people are sort of coming to figure out is that it's time to build businesses. It's time to build our careers. It's time to figure out how to move forward in a positive way. And I help with that.
So what exactly do you do? So I'm looking to hire you. So what
Wonderful.
what do you provide? What are your services? How do we go about selling me or selling my company?
Well, Erin, you wouldn't be hard to sell because you're such a lovely person. But what I would do is sit down and talk with you about what you're doing now to grow your enterprise, whether that be you or a company, and then figure out if there's some pieces that could be put in there that aren't there now that would help you grow, that would help you make more money, that would help you be the Steve Alford of the morning show business. So I'm sorry I brought that up. I probably shouldn't have.
Sore subject.
Yeah, sort of a sore subject. But it's an opportunity to just sit down and talk about what's missing. So that's how we begin. I don't charge people for that. We just look at, what's there and what's not, and then I make some suggestions.
Okay.
Lenan, how has, we all think of a salesperson, and instantly you have an image in your mind of who that person is, what they look like, how they act. But that person really doesn't exist very much anymore. The old pushy, you got to buy this today person. Sales is such a different art form these days. And can you talk about that transformation a little bit?
I can talk about that for sure, because you're exactly right. People look at me and say, oh, she's one of those, look at her smiling. And I wake up smiling, that's how I am. But it's true that people who are more introverted are more successful now in selling because we're so suspicious. You might be more suspicious of someone like me smiling at you than someone who's more subdued but who knows what they're talking about. Another key to this is you have to know what you're selling. If you don't understand it, if you can't be helpful from a technical point of view, then you're going to fail anyway. But if you have that knowledge, then your personality, being introverted, is not a disadvantage. Let's put it that way.
Selling is solving problems today, the way I understand it. And your personality doesn't have as much to do with it as the gravity of the problem that you can solve for somebody.
To a certain extent, Larry, that's true. Some people are not so much solving problems as trying to figure out what they're missing, what's possible that they don't have now that they can go and get. And so, for those people, it's not so much a problem as more, gee, tell me what other people are doing. Tell me what's working for other people. I'd like to have that here. For other people, it's fix my problem. In my case, they often say, the sales numbers are awful. Do something.
And if I'm that type of person who I'm an introvert and it's hard for me to sell my product, what do I do? And I'm kind of to myself, do you help get me out of my shell, or how do you help that type of person?
Yeah, there's a wonderful book out called Quiet. This is not my book. It's a book about introverted people and how they make wonderful contributions to the world, just different from the sort of showy out there people. So yes, there are some skills and tools that you can use to be effective, even if your personality isn't the kind of out there one that we're talking about.
A lot of sales is lead generation. Where do we find the people that want or maybe interested in what we have to offer? Do you deal a lot in that, and how do you teach people to find leads and find new customers?
Well, that actually varies by what kind of business you're in, what kind of social media presence you have, what kind of website is out there, what you're doing to support your business, other than just meeting people and saying, hi, I'm so-and-so,
Right.
and I'd like to share your wallet if I may.
Can I get in your wallet?
Yeah, exactly. You just put it out here. There are a lot of things that you can do in the world of the internet that allow you to attract people to you. And then there's some networking that helps you connect and bring people, at least have them know you. So that when you talk to them, they say, oh, yes, I know you. You're Larry Aarons, my goodness.
And you mentioned you have a book.
Yes,
so
I
you
do.
have one, or how many books do you have?
Well, I had a book that came out in 2007, and it did really well. There's something called the Axiom Business Book Award, given by Inc. magazine, the small business magazine.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it said, and I was nominated. My publisher called me and said, you're nominated. I said, wonderful.
Wow.
I didn't win, actually. I lost to a classmate of mine from graduate school, whose book is very good, and I quote it too. Hopefully he quotes mine. But I have a new book now because my book is out, my old original book is out of date. Because how people buy has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And so how we buy today is different. How we sell has to respect those differences.
And this is your book, Win More Clients.
That's my book. There it is, Big as Life, and it'll be out in May.
Fantastic. I love the title. Everybody wants more clients, no matter what you're doing. And that style of winning more clients has changed, as you said, in just 5 or 6 years. The whole dynamic has changed. What's the new thing that we need to know now?
Well, that's a good question because there's a lot of research going on about how people buy now and how people sell that is effective given that change of mindset. And it's not just, oh, they buy everything on the internet, because a lot of things are not bought on the internet. We get information on the internet and then we talk to the humans. And so it's an interesting thing. One of the things that's changed is that we have so much more information now, but we're so skeptical. Somebody's trying to perpetrate something on me. Don't try to sell me something. If I want to buy, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So in that world, what can you do to engage people? And the answer is you challenge them. You realize that a big part of the selling process is the information that you bring to that person about what's going on in the world, how people are being successful selling the kind of thing they sell. And then you offer a challenge to them. And there's a whole book called The Challenger Sale. I recommend it to everybody. That's a database, knowledge about what's actually working as opposed to someone's opinion. My book is all about the data about what's working now in selling.
In other words, supporting evidence. Somebody that's had success with whatever it is that you're offering, you bring that to your new customer and new possible client and say, look, they did it, you can do it too. Is that an example of that?
That's very much an example.
Yeah.
They did this. I wonder if there's a variation on that theme that would work for you.
So case studies are very big then.
Very big.
Huh.
There's nothing like a person who says, I did it and here's what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people, they'll use social media almost like a crutch to help sell their business. And they're like, oh, buy from me, but you never actually see the person. And I feel like that's such a missing part of the link, and people are just rely so much on the social media aspect. What do you think about that?
I think social media eats your time.
Yeah.
Like eats all of it. It will eat every moment of time that you have.
And then some.
And then some. And so you have to be careful about how much time you put into that. And then you have to think about something we call F to F and P to P. F, capital F, number 2 F, and P, number 2 P. Face to face and phone to phone, much more powerful in creating actual sales than anything you might do on your blog. And I say that as a person with 2 blogs.
Yeah.
So get out of the computer mode and get into talking to people. Get on the phone, go make some meetings happen. YouCanSell.com, and it's a big resource there for your website, Lenan, and it's fantastic. And you travel all over the country, based right here in Albuquerque. You go everywhere to teach people these techniques, and that's really nice.
We just figured it out. I've been to 43 countries, and I've worked with people from 52 countries that have flown, some of whom have flown in to work with me. So I get to work all over the world, and I see what's working.
So you're the woman, the go-to person for selling.
Well, I'd like to think so. There are some people in my field who are quite good.